So in this video, we'll be going over an introduction to proof by induction. So this will be a good video for those who don't know what this is, because I will just be explaining it from the real basics, like step by step for a really simple example. And it will also be a good video for those who also understand, who already know about this, because it will be a good way to kind of understand this from the roots again. And I'll be talking about some, like, referring to some techniques that you will need in order to effectively incorporate this in your method. So basically, a proof by induction is basically a strategy, a type of proof, and it's quite interesting because it only requires 2 steps, and it proves a statement for all numbers within a domain, within a given domain. So to start, let's say you want to prove that some statement P of X is true. Some statement P of X. Alright, statement P of X. Some statement P of X. So it can be like, P of X can be just any statement that you want to prove to be true. So like, for example, the example we're going to use here is the statement that the sum of all the natural numbers from 1 all the way up to n is equal to n times n plus 1 over 2, where n is a positive integer. I rarely use the natural number notation because in my IB curriculum they tend to include 0, but in real life you don't, so there's some confusion over that, so I'll just use this instead. So yeah, this is a statement, and let's say we want to prove this true. So we have a statement P of X that we want to prove. Then how we start this proof by induction is, for the first step, you need to prove that this is true for the initial case. So prove that it is true for the initial case. We need to prove this. And so basically what we're trying to do is we want to show that this holds for, so what I mean by initial case is the smallest number in the given domain. So like the first case for all the numbers that this statement holds for. So in this case, that would be 1, because 1 is the smallest positive integer. So we just need to show that this holds for 1, which is simple because this side will be 1, and then I'll just put this apart a bit, and then this side would just be 1 times 1 plus 1 over 2. I won't have the equal sign there, actually. 1 times 1 plus 1 over 2, which is equal to 1. So yeah, we proved that is true for the initial case. That's pretty simple. This is normally the simplest step. And then the next step is, so this is where things get spicy, because yeah, so first you assume that it's true, the statement is true for n equals k, where k is some number in the given domain. So in this case, we're assuming that for some positive integer k here, this thing holds for k, which means that basically this is implying we're assuming that it's true that, I'll put this in another color actually. 1 plus, no, I'm gonna put this in red because I'm gonna use this color later. 1 plus 2 plus all the way up to k is equal to k times k plus 1 over 2. We're assuming this. We're assuming this is true for some integer k. We're assuming that there exists some positive integer k, so that P of k is true. Actually, I'll just write so that you guys understand. P of 1 true, and then this means P of k true. Yeah. So, and always remember, like, the initial case is not always 1. It can also be like all the positive integers greater than or equal to 3, then the initial case would be 3, just for your reference. Yeah, so back to this step. So we assume this is true. Then after that, what we do is we prove that then this assumption leads to it being true for n equals k. So we want to show that if we assume that this is true, if the statement is true for n equals k, then it will hold true for n equals k, n equals k plus 1. It will be true for n equals k plus 1, or p of k plus 1 is true. And wait a sec, there's a bit of a typo here. Oops. It should be p of, I'll just write p of n to match these. And yeah, so we're saying that if we assume that this step is true, then the next step will be true. And I'll see. So normally math teachers use dominoes as an analogy to explain prove why this proves it's true for all numbers in the given domain. But I'll just give you a straightforward explanation. So how this works is basically so what this shows is that if pk, I'll write this in the corner because I want to leave it on the screen for you guys. So we're showing that if pk is true, then this directly implies the next step, pk plus 1, is true. So we're saying that every time a certain step, if every time a step is true, then the next step is certainly true. So it's kind of like a domino, as other teachers say. So if the first domino falls, then the next domino falls. And we also proved in the first case, in the first step, that the first case, the initial case, is true. And then this implies by this that p of 2 is true, and then p of 3 is true, and so on. So it covers this, it's like a chain reaction. It covers all the numbers in the given domain. So it proves that the statement is true for all numbers within the domain. So using these two cases, showing that the chain reaction continues by showing that if a step is true, then the next step is guaranteed to be true, and by showing that, additionally showing that the first case is true, that the chain reaction starts. We show that the chain reaction starts from the beginning and goes through all the numbers in the domain. And that's pretty neat. Only these two steps, only proving these two facts, proves that the statement holds for all numbers in the domain. Yeah, so that's the reason why why this will prove that the statement is true for all n in the positive integers. So how will we do this though? So actually proving this inductive step, so we call this the inductive step. Doing the inductive step is actually the spiciest and the hardest part, and is where the proof by induction becomes really beautiful and elegant. But though it's really simple, I'll show you why, but the motive behind how we do these kind of things. So what we want to show is that if we want to show pk plus 1 is true, then we want to show that the sum of all the natural numbers from 1 to all the way up to k plus 1 is equal to k plus 1 times k plus 1 plus 1, which is k plus 2. So k plus 1 times k plus 2 divided by 2. So what we want to do is we want to use this fact. So we want to show that if we assume this is true, this is true. So we want to somehow use this fact in here. And this is one of the simplest cases for proof by induction, because it's a sum. And if it's a sum, you can easily incorporate the first part. We can split the sum and then just substitute it in. So this is one of the main techniques in proof by induction. So we can split the sum into what belongs to our assumption and then just the extra parts. And this is really important to know what you do in the inductive step. So whenever it's a sum, remember that or just anything, just remember that you always have to incorporate, you always have to include your assumption into this, or else it's not really a proof by induction. Like, why would you be assuming this to be true if you never use this? So always remember to use this when you're proving this true. So anyways, so if we substitute this into here, then this becomes k times, I need to put this in red. So this is k times k plus 1 divided by 2, if we substitute it in, and then plus k plus 1. And we can realize we can substitute out k plus 1 to get k plus 1 times k plus k over 1, 2 plus 1. And then this is equal to, this is equal to, actually I'll just write it below. This is equal to k plus 1 times k plus 2 divided by 2, which is what we desired. Therefore, pk plus 1 is true. So here we prove that p1 is true, and then if pk is true, then we can show that pk plus 1 is true. So we completed the proof, but for you guys who don't, you'll be really disappointed to hear this, but especially for exams, I don't want to be exam orientated, but you always need to include the final line, which says, therefore, if true for n equals k, then it's true for n equals k plus 1, and it is true for n equals 1. So we're basically just saying this in like simple terms. And then, therefore, true for all n in the given domain. Oops. Okay, that's a really bad Z. There we go. Yeah, so that is the proof by, so yeah, you complete the proof by induction with this line. So yeah, that is the proof by induction. And yeah, so this is a really simple example. Like, you guys will know better proofs for this rather than this really long proof. And some of you will wonder why won't really like this proof, because it sometimes doesn't really give the intuition behind the statement. Like, proof by induction sometimes acts kind of like a last minute tool to use when you don't really know how to do it using direct proof, or like some other proof that is more straightforward than this. But there are some statements, there are some theorems in math which, like, and especially in differential calculus, where the proof by induction really provides the intuition behind why that theorem is true. It makes this really elegant. But yeah, maybe I'll cover some problems which have really nice proofs by induction. But I will have another video where we will be using some of the content learned in other parts of this YouTube channel to carry out a proof by induction, where the inductive step is actually really nice, including the initial case too. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and hope to see you in some of my other videos.